Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about astrology and social media. I'm going to talk about some things in our charts, that may, be tied in. That it is tied into social media, actually. Now, when you look at planet Uranus. That is connected with the internet and social media, and based on the sign it's in, the house that we have it in could indicate some attitudes and how we approach the internet and certain experiences. Now, like with me, I have Uranus in Libra in my sixth house in my natal chart. Uranus and Libra, I think the generation I would say the generation that has Uranus and Libra may be may focus on internet relationships a lot, being finding and maybe even finding some peace and balance in their lives through the internet. Uranus and Libra can rebel against typical relationships, but I believe internet relationships may be more emphasized for people that have Uranus in Libra, as opposed to the other Uranus placements. And I have it in the sixth house, so it's more ingrained and integrated in my daily routine, more so than the average person. It's interesting because it's the ruler of my 10th house. And, that's, and I have Aquarius on the cusp of the 10th house. So that's like that public image, that reputation for being an astrologer. So it's interesting how it's all intertwined. And also, too, having Aquarius on the 10th house cusp can indicate that the internet and social media is going to be prominent for me in terms of, any kind of, notoriety, recognition, because Aquarius, of course, is, connected with social media and the internet. Now, people that have, Uranus and, Virgo may use the internet more, I would say, could be health-related reasons. Sometimes it's criticism. Sometimes I would say maybe people with Uranus and Virgo may have had to deal maybe with more criticism, people being more judgmental toward them, than many others. But it could also be where it's used more for, analytical purposes, analysis. People have Uranus and Virgo, and, things that are more, of a cerebral type of nature, using it to compile data, statistics, things of that nature, maybe finding, cleaning methods. Uranus and Scorpio may be more inclined to use the internet and social media for deep research, probing, investigation. Maybe there's more of an interest in crime, in trying to maybe help, maybe deduce, mysteries through the internet, through sleuthing on the internet, through, deep research and investigation. Now, Uranus and Sagittarius is more I would say using the internet maybe for foreign travel plans, for higher education, exploration, expanding horizons, maybe even adopting some kind of religion or philosophical beliefs. And, Uranus and Sagittarius may have more of an exuberance and enthusiasm, for the internet more so than, most people, on average. And now, somebody, people with Uranus and Capricorn, I would say is more about emphasizing the internet and social media for career-related purposes to attain greater, social status, stature in life, notoriety, recognition. It may be for, political, government, research. I would say Uranus and Capricorn can be very, proficient, kind of like placement, placement can be very proficient for information technology, because you have Uranus, I would say, as a connection with that. Even Capricorn may have a connection with that as well. And Uranus and Capricorn, I would say, could often use the internet and social media as far as maybe researching, possible career, avenues, as well, and to be, to build like a business more. And, people with Uranus and Aquarius, it's more about, keep in mind Uranus is in its, it's in its dignity in Aquarius. So it's obviously a very, good placement for it. So people that have Uranus and Aquarius may use, the social media and the internet, to make the connections more through the internet, to maybe, research, things that are innovative, new technology, make friends, through social media. And it's just a very good placement as far as social networking in general, attaining one's goals and aspirations through social media, and also joining, groups, clubs, organizations, in the process. And I'd say now people with Uranus and Pisces is more, researching, the internet or going on the internet. It could be for matters pertaining to spirituality, the metaphysical understanding, dreams. It could be more of a relaxing, type of thing, for those people, kind of an escape. And, also, when you look at, Uranus also, the houses, of course, is important as well. I mean, Uranus, the second house, social media and the internet may figure more prominently, like in one's, self-worth and self-esteem, how one feels about oneself, and also, for monetary matters, as well. And it could be that the person may be inclined to make money, through the, through social networking and, social media, the internet. And also, too, it's important, like, to look at and see, what's on your 11th house cusp, because the 11th house in astrology rules, the internet. Now, I have, Aquarius, on my 11th house cusp, so it's a natural, placement for that. It's in the sign that is connected with social media on that house that is associated with it. So, obviously, that's a very good placement for it, and it's about, and I would say too, the fact that astrology has been prominent in my social media journey, so to speak, and I think that has played, a very strong role in that process. And Aquarius on the 11th house cusp may use, social media could be for astrology or other Aquarius, type of, ventures, whether it's astronomy, computers, electronics, information technology, innovation, understanding new technology, as some examples. And also the ruler of that 11th house is important, as well. I have two rulers of that because, Saturn and Uranus both rule, Aquarius. I have one of the rulers is placed in the 12th house, Saturn. It's conjunct my ascendant. And, it shows where, as far as, more, solitude, for me, connected with the internet. 12th house is also, the metaphysical, which includes astrology. So, again, it just reinforces and reaffirms, I think, that the fact that I've used, the internet has been very prominent in my, astrological journey. And also, one of the other rulers is in the 6th house. Uranus almost exactly conjuncts my 6th house cusp. So that's another, what I think is very telling with that. Again, it just shows the, the internet being so strongly connected, with my daily routine. And, it's funny, somebody said to me one time, because I didn't have the internet for, for some point during the day, and she said, it's like I was going through some withdrawal because I didn't have the internet And I thought it's interesting because Uranus falls in my sixth house of, physical health related issues. And, I guess it's like astrology maybe having a sense of humor. Now, another thing to look at is that, where Aquarius is placed, in your chart, what house is it in? Because that could show, that area or sector of life where, the social media and the internet, is prominent. Now, I have Aquarius, on the 10th and 11th house cusp in my natal chart. So it's a double dose of Aquarius, basically. I have being on the 10th house, of career, notoriety, recognition, public image, reputation. It shows and indicates that, the astrology and social media and the internet was going to play an integral role in that for me. And, any success that would be attained. And also having it on the 11th house cusp shows that, it was going to help in terms of, as far as my connections, my friendships, or groups, clubs, organizations I may join, may often be on the internet, and that it was going to be vital more in my future, more so than most people. It was more of a goal and aspiration, and it shows that, when you have duplicated, houses in astrology, that energy, of course, could be very, integrated. And having Aquarius on both the 10th and 11th house cusp, can indicate that the, matters with, the career and social stature in life, which is the 10th house, and success, and the 11th house, the goals, the aspirations, and groups and friends that were going to be strongly intertwined, and also through through the internet, that is going to be prominent in those matters. And the thing too is, keep in mind, as far as the transit we have, of course, that's an Aquarius, that Pluto, being an Aquarius, and as many of you may know, it's going to be very enduring. It's going to last for a pretty good time, and it's a lot more, power I think people are going to try to attain, through the internet, and maybe there may be some transformation, of people more associated, with that. I understand Pluto, Aquarius means a lot more than that. We might be seeing a transformation of humanity, as an example, but I think you're going to see a lot more, people that are going to be more about power and support, through the internet and social media, one way or the other. And I think you're going to see more of like just the general obsession. I mean, Pluto's connected with obsession and fixation. So you're going to find where people are going to be more fixated, with the internet and social media more so than ever, during that transit. So it's important to be careful, because it's okay to be excited and enthusiastic about things, don't get me wrong, but to get to a point where people become so obsessed with the internet to where they're oblivious to virtually everything else in their life is no good. Some of you may have seen, certain, photos. They'll show, like, you go like on Facebook, and I'll have things come up in my feed sometimes, and it'll be like, they'll show like that picture from like 1980, a drawing, and then one from 2024 showing the disparity between, that time and 2024, 2025 or whatever. And it'll show in the 1980 picture, people, sitting at a dinner table and eating and, being with their families. And then the 2024, 2025 picture, whatever, will show, those same people, they'll be sitting down, with their iPhones. So, and, it just shows that people are so, dominated more now by, that kind, the iPhones and the internet and social media. And I just want to, convey this message that, if that is the case, just be careful, people, because, family and community, and just general interaction outside of social media is essential. And being too much immersed and engrossed in matters on the internet and social media is no good. And I have to be wary and be careful of that, because I've had a lot of physical related type certain restrictions, and I've been more confined, and I've just been pretty much dominated by the internet and social media. So I have to be careful as well in that. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.